In the Pokrovsk sector, the front line has become a veritable hellscape for Russian troops. Although they continue to attempt to advance with infantry and support vehicles, their every move is under the watchful eye of Ukrainian electronic surveillance. Ukrainian Armed Forces UAV operators, with composure and skill, launch FPV drones, proven to be deadly precision weapons on the modern battlefield. From high above, these drones wait for the right moment before swooping down with pinpoint accuracy on enemy targets. The circulating footage shows a group of Russian infantry attempting to advance through an open path near a plantation. They attempt to use the remaining trees for cover, but Ukrainian surveillance has already spotted them. An FPV drone immediately takes off, zooming low at high speed. Within seconds, a precision blast hits the enemy position. Bodies are scattered, and the remaining troops are forced to seek cover without coordination. The attempt to hold on is short-lived, as another drone swoops in and finishes the job with pinpoint accuracy. In the second attack, Russian forces again attempted to force a breakthrough using vehicles to transport their infantry to the front line. Footage shows a small enemy convoy advancing cautiously, attempting to utilize the vehicle's speed to pressure Ukrainian defenses. From the air, the enemy's movement path was constantly monitored, and an FPV drone was launched toward the target with deadly precision. The pinpoint hit directly hit the Russian vehicle, causing a loud explosion and flames that halted the enemy's advance. The vehicle, previously the mainstay of the attack, was instantly reduced to burning rubble. These two attacks confirm one thing. In Pokrovsk, every Russian advance is met with an attack, and FPV drones have become Ukraine's long arm, capable of reaching, tracking, and destroying the enemy wherever they try to defend. This front is no longer just a battle line. It has become a field of death that haunts every Russian soldier ordered to attack. While from the Kupiansk direction, Belarusian volunteers fighting for Ukraine are hammering Russian positions and dismantling their staging grounds. Ideologically opposed to Russia's invasion and morality, they are taking expert advantage of weak spots that appeared after Russian generals recently grossly misallocated their resources. At Kupiansk, Ukrainians continue to hold the line, with commandos of the Ukrainian Intelligence Directorate forming a formidable part of the defense. And standing beside them, integrated into the unit, is the Belarusian Volunteer Corps. While there are many groups of Belarusian volunteers, this unit is integrated into and has received Special Forces-level training from Ukraine. They do not operate alone, instead acting as support elements for deep Special Forces raids, sabotage, and reconnaissance missions, as well as a number of teams conducting these operations themselves. For one of these missions, Belarusians in the mortar unit of the Volunteer Corps modified and specialized their rounds for a specific purpose. Combining a napalm-like substance with thermite flakes, these incendiary shells were meant to burn away forest cover, force Russians out of their dugouts into the open, and create a massive, long-lasting distraction. Geolocated footage shows these rounds landing in streaks on a small forest near the settlement of Kindrashivka. The napalm-like substance holding the incendiary thermite flakes together, burning at over 2,000 degrees Celsius or 3,600 Fahrenheit. The mission was to hold an active defense in front of Kindrashivka, as Russian infiltrators have regularly tried to establish a foothold here. The forest is linked to the settlement by a narrow series of tree lines through which Russian infantry move under the cover of darkness, after gathering first in the forest. However, the fires raining down on them distracted the Russians and flushed them out of their hideouts. Reportedly, they were then engaged from behind by a special forces raiding party that cleared the forest of Russian soldiers. The Belarusian operation here was a direct result of problems caused by Russian commanders themselves. Recently, amidst stalling progress at Kupiansk and eager to report success, another classical flag-planting operation was launched. However, this one made the mistake of reporting successes far beyond what was believable. Russian soldiers were forced to move into Kupiansk in civilian clothing to prevent Ukrainian interdiction, before unfurling flags all the way in the center of the town. Proudly satisfied they could publish footage proving the Russian capture of half of the town in a single day, Russians shared the footage across social media, which was then promptly tracked and geolocated by the Ukrainian 10th Army Corps. Discovering every single one of these infiltration groups, the Russian pretenders were quickly dispatched by FPV drone strikes and elite forces going door to door. The Russian tricolors were taken as trophies, while Russian military analysts were forced to admit that commanders had sent in these soldiers to die for an information victory that only lasted a couple of hours. While not only a suicide mission for the Russian soldiers involved, the operation was a gross misallocation of Russian resources across the Oskil River. The wasteful throwing away of dozens of soldiers' lives left Russian soldiers fighting the actual battle without reinforcements, a situation lasting several days due to the difficulty of fording troops across the heavily monitored river. The Belarusian operation of destroying a Russian staging ground was only a part of the Ukrainian response, as combined Ukrainian forces across the entire Russian bridgehead took advantage of the Russian miscalculation. Notably, Russian commanders tried to salvage the situation with yet another flag-planting operation, this time sticking the Russian flag to the Kupiansk television mast with drones and a magnet, enraging Russian military observers who in response called for the complete purging of the command and leadership of the Russian 6th Army. Overall, Russian commanders made a gross mistake, leading to the deaths of dozens of their fighters, leaving Russians fighting the actual battle for Kupiansk understaffed and without